Hey guys, welcome to Serial Killer, the podcast where we eat cereal and
talk about murder.
Murder, you guys. Obviously this is our first one. Because it's going off without a hitch.
Yeah, we know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, there was nothing that happened before that made us start later.
No, nothing at all. They're all on time and organized.
Everything's organized, everything's on time. We don't have a theme song, so let me just make one up. Serial killer. No.
That sounds like a porn theme song.
Damn, it does. Maybe that's a new career for
that
me.
Could be, yeah. That's what you should. Well, they still make parody porn because I saw a clip from Guardians of the Galaxy parody porn, and then I just kept trying to think of what that porn name was, and I couldn't. There was like no good.
Punalaxy?
Yeah, like they're just all bad.
I mean, it's porn. Were you expecting it to be Oscar?
Fair enough.
So today we're going to talk about, we're starting the first episode, we're starting off with a biggie. I feel like
yeah. Everything I read said that this defined the end of the 60s.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess so, yes. But on the grand scheme of things, he's not like the most prolific.
No, and it wasn't even like the most gruesome or even like highest body count or anything
not
like
highest
that.
Body count, pretty gruesome.
Pretty gruesome, but it's not as bad as like some other people. Like there were no...
The Sacramento Vampire.
God.
But yeah, pretty bad. We're talking, of course, about Charles Manson. Which when I first we were discussing it, I was like, we should talk about Marilyn Manson. I was like, wait,
no, not right.
Wrong time.
Nope, and the family, which is like the creepiest name for a cult ever.
But it kind of makes sense.
Like it makes so much sense.
Families? Have you met mine?
Just briefly.
I love you guys.
You're
not watching. Yeah, so we're talking about Charles Manson and the family. There's been a lot of buzz about him lately. Not that there ever is like
not. Well,
not.
He was in jail, and it was like periodically he would say something insane, and then that woman tried to marry him, and then he died.
Just for his jizz, which is
very creepy. He's already got like multiple other children out there too.
You guys, it's so creepy. But today we're pairing him. So you have to explain this pairing because I did not pick this pairing.
So I picked
not that I don't support this pairing. I don't want to say that I don't support the pairing. It's just I never, in my wildest dreams,
would have thought
like this was actually a thing.
Yeah, no. So this is something I saw at a head shop near my apartment that sells not only like bongs and things, but weird cereal. And it's like they sell like energy drinks and bongs, and then like one wall of weird cereal.
I love this place so much.
And so I saw it, and it was Sour Patch Kids cereal, where on the box it even says sour then sweet, which terrifies me.
So is that why you picked it? Because
and I picked it. I think because if you look at like what he did to get the family members, and even like with the family members, it was these like cute girls who he tried to get like real promiscuous girls who were really suggestive so that he could like send them off to meet these entertainment dudes and like seduce them.
Right.
Sweet. Everybody had VD. It was like venereal diseases everywhere because no one had access to showers or like real health care. So then the sour. So not even getting to the murders,
VD.
but
sour is VD. Okay.
Sour then sweet. The Charles Manson story.
Sour Patch is ever going to sponsor us now.
Okay, I'm terrified to try this cereal.
I think we have to try it.
I'm gonna open it.
Open it up. First of all, it's a massive box too. It's not even.
This isn't like. It's like a family-sized box of Sour Patch Kids cereal.
Is there a prize in it? I love when there was prizes.
No, there is a Mad Libs on the back though.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. There is. For those of you that are watching and not listening, you can see that there is a Mad Lib on the back.
Whoa.
Maybe we'll post it on our social media and you can play along.
Oh my god, smell that. That smells so sickly sweet.
In my mouth, you guys. Alright.
There, that's enough.
They kind of look like bones.
I was thinking that, or like Flintstones vitamins.
I loved Flintstone vitamins though, you guys.
Where like,
woo! She just
We're
dropped
fine.
the box.
We're fine.
Just dropped the box. It's no big deal. Nobody's dead. Except for the people that we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to put a little cereal.
A little milk in this cereal?
Some milk in this cereal.
I think they're supposed to look like Sour Patch Kids, but they just look like weird deformed bows.
Like weird ribbons, or I'll do a little close up for later so that you can see. There you go. It's not great.
I wonder if this will turn the milk like. Yeah, oh yeah, it's turning like blue.
Gross. What is it gonna do to my insides? Okay, I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
And see if it tastes like Charles Manson.
Oh my god.
It kind of tastes like Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
But like something's up.
It's like someone spiked the Fruit Loops.
You're like, what's wrong with my Fruit Loops?
It's like I put hard apple cider in to my Fruit Loops instead of milk.
I'm gonna tell you that I don't hate it as much as I thought I was gonna hate it.
I thought it was gonna have that like citric acid punch and really like kick you in the mouth with it, but no, it's really not that bad.
I actually went for a second helping. I have a milk ratio issue, you guys. You know, there's a statement that's like, don't pour my milk for me in my cereal. You don't know me like that. It's true. I'm like, you don't know the ratio. Okay, this is good. It's a better cereal than I thought. Manson-esque, definitely like psychedelic.
Yeah.
It's not as bad. Wow, as I thought. So, pick some up today.
I can't. That is so much sugar. I can't eat more than like. Anastasia's just going for it.
Well, oh, Manson.
Well, there's the thing with Charles Manson is before he even started his like cult that I don't know if he ever thought of in terms of a cult. He just like.
You don't think he thought he was like, okay, that's the question I have about cult leaders. Like, do they know, like, I'm a cult leader and this is my goal? Or are they like, to not quote, but to quote, are they drinking the Kool-Aid themselves and, like, walking around knowing, like, not knowing that they're crazy?
I think it's, like, 50-50. Like, I think some cult leaders are fully, like, I know that I am starting this cult and forming this cult and, like, leading all these people on for whatever purpose, whether it be, like, money or power.
Right.
And then I think there's another half who are like, no, we're all going towards the same destiny together. Like, the...
Haley Bob guy.
Yeah, exactly. Was it the Branch Davidians? There were a couple of cults where they, like...
Do you know what Laura's brother, Nichelle Nichols, her brother was one of the Haley Bob Comet.
Really?
Like, people. That is so weird and so sad to me. But, Charles Manson is an interesting fellow. I was actually reading up facts about him. Let me just say the most disturbing fact is he's a Scorpio. And as a Scorpio, I'm
upset.
so sad.
I'm very upset about that.
We don't need any
this
help in this matter.
Everyone already thinks we're crazy,
right? But here's what I always say is that all the Scorpio males that I know and love, I'm sorry, but Scorpio males are crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a different level.
It's a different level. But he was born November 12th, 1934, so he's definitely a Scorpio. He was born in Ohio.
Depression baby.
Yeah. And when he was born, they didn't give him a name. They called him No Name Maddox for a bit.
Yeah, and then his mom wrote down not his biological father's name on his birth certificate.
Right. And eventually he took his stepdad's last name and was Charles Manson. But his name eventually was Charles Miles Maddox. And then, it's so weird. He's also been married.
Twice! 2 different women married him.
Yeah. Well, and
both of them had kids.
Yeah. Both of them had kids. Apparently he married 3 women.
Oh, did he marry one of the family?
It says we have one in 1955. We have one in the early 1960s.
Yeah.
And then we have one in okay. Oh no, wait, no, you're right. There's only two. There's two.
Because there was that girl,
right.
the one
Those
who
are children.
wanted. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he has a child with both of them, and then just has like tons of kids with the family once he starts it.
Oh god. Birth control if you're gonna be in a cult.
I mean,
Is
also,
that a good thing for me to say? I said it. It doesn't matter.
mostly just get STD tested. Like above all else, wear protection.
I feel above all else, don't join a cult.
That's true, but sometimes you just like accidentally join a cult.
Has this happened to you? Have you accidentally joined a cult?
Yes, it's called improv comedy, and mine no.
I joined that cult as well. So like, basically, Charles Manson, 12 years old, in and out of facilities.
Oh yeah, his mom wanted to sell him for a pitcher of beer when he was a baby?
Yeah, he actually left with the person, and then his uncle had to go find out who she gave him to, and get him back. Not great family.
Yeah, no, not a very supportive home environment.
No.
And he's an only child.
Yeah.
As far as I could tell.
Well, we
but
don't
also,
know.
that's true.
We don't know father, right?
Yeah.
Who
just left and never returned and was like, nope, piecing out of this business.
When he, in his 20s, finally was out of prison, they wanted to release him, and he said, "Oh no, I can't go outside. I knew that I couldn't adjust to that world, not after all my life had been spent locked up and where my mind was free."
That was both heartbreaking and terrifying.
Yeah, it really talks about the system and how the system creates monsters.
Inmates. Yeah, these people don't. Especially, he had known no other life than stealing and getting thrown in jail, and
being sold. I mean, his life was sucky. I'm not giving him any.
No. Well, and he made friends with a bunch of pimps in jail and learned all these really shady techniques on how to get women and make a stable and a lot of manipulative mentalities that I'm sure used later on.
He read that book. He did that course.
Oh, the How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, which was super, and the prison guards all encouraged it. They also encouraged him to join Scientology, which he did, and then was like, "This is insane, no thank you."
I'm just gonna say Manson thought Scientology was insane.
Then that's back when it was still sort of regarded as an okay religion. It was back in 61 when it was right after it had formed. What's his face was still alive, the guy who started it.
Oh, Ron.
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
I wanted to say H.P. Lovecraft.
I just said Ron Hubbard. I just wanted to do a disclaimer that we should have done. That we should have done before. We're not experts in any way, shape, or form, as is evident from our conversation. Oh, Ron Hubbard.
But yeah, so poor Charlie wanted to stay in jail, and the guards were like, "That's not how this works. You have to leave."
So he was like, "You know what? Fine. I'll move to San Francisco."
Yeah. That's a logical next step.
And then eventually he meets this guy, Gary Hinman, who introduces him to, his name is, what's the leader, or not one of the leaders, but he gets introduced to Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys and becomes involved with the Beach Boys and actually writes music for them and with them.
And goes pretty far in Hollywood. There's a producer who's trying to make a movie about Jesus who follows Charlie around for a while to get inspiration, because Charlie talks about himself like he is Jesus. Yeah. And also he looks a surprising amount like the Roman Catholic depictions of Jesus.
Thank you for saying the Roman
No
Catholic
problem.
depiction of Jesus.
That's one specific version of Jesus and not what Jesus actually looked like.
Right. So I love that. So the first person the family actually kills.
Yeah, he's growing. Oh, he's
Gary
growing his
Hinman.
family. Poor Gary Hinman. And then they
yeah.
try to. No! Is it Gary Hinman?
I think so. Yeah, I think Gary Hinman is the first, and then it's the Tate murders, and then it's the LaBiancas.
Yeah. Well, there's Hinman and lots of Papa, the drug dealer.
Oh, that's not even on here.
Oh, yeah. So there's this drug dealer that Tex Watson organizes this, like, fake drug deal, essentially, to
like it.
scam, like, $2,500 out of these drug dealers, and is like, oh, I'll sell you, like, 25 kilos of weed, and you will give me $2,500, and this will be a good transaction, but really they're just trying to, like, get money. And so then, this drug dealer, something Crow, but his nickname is Lots of Papa.
No.
I know. I was once telling my boyfriend this story drunk, and I was like, oh yeah, then they murdered this drug dealer, Lots of Papa, and he was like, wait, no, we're going back to that.
Lots of Papa.
I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's his name.
Not just some Papa. But
Lots of Papa.
It's
Yeah,
very
so
cute.
they murder him, and that's the first one that they, like, write in blood on the walls, like, die piggies or something.
Oh, and then on
because
Gary,
then they do it.
on Gary's, they write political pig.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, like, the
'Cause
term
they're-
pig was, like, not
It was for the
really...
cops? Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was...
Well, actually, they're the first ones to actually call the cops pigs.
Oh.
Is what I've been told.
Interesting.
Prove me wrong if you would like to. But I heard that the term came from the Manson family, or at least became extremely popularized by them, which is why I kind of don't want to ever use it as for cops, because it just feels really wrong. Also, it's very disrespectful to cops, and as much as I am, you know, there's some very bad cops out there, I try not to be disrespectful to them as a whole. But yeah, so Lots of Papa.
Yeah, and then Hinman, and then
Tate.
It feels like out of, like, not even out of nowhere, but if you look at, like, the timeline of Charlie Manson, it's like, meets the Beatles, tries to get famous, like, has a bunch of record recording time that doesn't go well at all because he can't take direction, and then he just sort of, like, goes off and kills all these people.
Well, and also, like, he seems to be doing it strategically for his career, kind of.
Yeah.
But he done tried that and had some real good opportunities that other people didn't have at all.
Oh, yeah.
And messed with them. But I guess, you know, when you're nuts, you're nuts.
Yeah.
You're nuts, you're nuts. So the Sharon Tate murder, is probably the most, I would say, most famous of them all. I just watched a movie called The Haunting of Sharon Tate, which was interesting, starring Hilary Duff, the guy from Mean Girls, you know.
Oh, yep, Aaron Samuels.
Aaron Samuels.
Yeah.
That's not his real name.
I don't know. He
was
hosts,
also on Cupcake.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but he doesn't host anymore. They got a new one.
Oh, well,
I know, I'm sad. I think he's doing other things with his
Jonathan something. Jonathan,
that sounds right.
That sounds right. My boyfriend used to work on Cupcake Wars.
I love Cupcake Wars. And then Lydia Hearst as the Folger girl.
Interesting.
It was an interesting movie, but there's been a lot of interesting movies.
There have been, and they almost none of them touch on the LaBiancas.
No, which is, I don't know. Listen, I was gonna say it's kind of sad.
I know, and then it's like, well, how much do we really want to exploit?
Right, because Sharon Tate's sister recently, after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, was kind of saying, like,
I can't believe it.
Well, just, like, how much my sister's, like, memory is just being
murdered.
Just murder.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Hey, she was in Valley of the Dolls, one of
was.
the campiest movies ever made.
Yeah, and if you ever saw the sequel, that was a crazy movie. I don't even know what happened, except for it did end in murder. Like a crazy murder. But yeah, so the LaBiancas doesn't get a lot.
No, well, I didn't even know that there were other murders outside of Sharon Tate until I was in, like, college, and I started looking into it on my own.
Well, you know, that's where parenting goes wrong. Because I knew. Thanks, Mom. I knew from a very young age there were other murders.
But it's because both of them are essentially Charlie's, like, go here, these people are connected to the entertainment industry, and murder them. And with the LaBiancas, he just literally got the house wrong. Like, they had gone to a party in the house next door to the LaBiancas, like, a year before. And he, like, vaguely remembered the address and was like, go here and kill all of these people.
Which just sold. That,
yes!
The house just sold.
Somebody bought it.
Somebody that's a ghost hunter bought it.
That's right.
So I'm sure we're going to be able to go into it.
Oh,
which
God.
is both terrifying, amazing, and sad, and all the things. All the emotions at once, because, let's face it, I want to go, but I know that it's horrible.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, and that you can, like, go up Cielo Drive and, like, see the gate in front of Sharon Tate's old house, but, like, people who live there are very much not friendly about it.
Would you, though? Like,
that's
also, like, don't buy that house.
It's also, like, living in Hollywood, there are so many houses that are so iconic that, like the house in Halloween that Jamie Lee Curtis lives in, the people who live there just, like, leave pumpkins outside and are like, please take photos, but don't disturb us.
That's a smart way to do it.
That's a good move, because you bought this house, you know it's famous, like, you gotta accept it, because people are gonna be tourists, especially when LA has the, like, LA murder tour.
Yeah, they do. There's several of them, and I've been on them.
Yeah, you can go see where the Black Dahlia was dumped.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have to discuss that one.
Oh, man.
No, it's not a serial killer. Well,
it might be.
Kind of.
There's a lot of theories. Yeah.
The current theory that is being publicized a lot in podcast form and in TV form seems to think that he might have been a serial killer or starting to be.
Some type of, repeated offender.
Least, like, maybe 2 or 3, I feel like they're in there. But anyway, Charles Manson.
The LaBiancas. Yeah, so the night after Sharon Tate and her friends are all murdered, this couple who he, like, ran grocery stores or, like, owned a chain of grocery stores or something, and they're just murdered, like, very gruesomely, like, stabbed dozens of times. And then they also write, they carve into somebody.
They do carve into somebody.
And I don't remember if it was someone.
I feel like it was him.
I thought it was one of the LaBiancas. I thought it was Lino LaBianca, but it might have been one of the people at the Tate house, because it was Sharon Tate, Jay Sebring, the Folger girl, her artist boyfriend, and then, like, some guy who was visiting the guy at the back, like, someone who was visiting someone who lived there, because it also was very confusing, like, who owned the house, and, like...
Yeah.
That's a whole part where I'm like, this is now way more complicated.
The saddest thing is, though, like, if you look up, I mean, I don't know if this is the saddest thing, but it is a pretty sad thing, is that when you look up the LaBiancas who died horribly, it's just like, not important. People don't actually focus on it. Even in their articles, it's mainly about the Tate and Folger and that, which, I mean,
it makes sense. They're the big names, they're going to draw more people, but it's also, if you want to give justice to all of the victims, you have to include all of the victims.
Yeah. And like you were saying, you actually didn't know.
Yeah, when I remember, I forget what it was, but it was something to do with the Beatles, because Charles Manson also, like, thought that the Beatles were sending him messages through the White Album.
Yeah, he was obsessed with them.
He got super obsessed with them in prison and, like, learned to play the steel guitar.
Yeah.
And got, like, real obsessed with the Beatles, so that by the time the White Album came out, he was like, we have to make our own White Album that'll start this race war. And, like, I've read some things online that all of the stuff about the race war that he wanted or was, like, pushing for was really propagated by the guy who wrote Helter Skelter, the book, because he was the prosecuting lawyer in the trial, and that he put that out there, and it wasn't really as big a part of Manson's whole design as like we think it is.
Interesting. There's been a lot from my research. Also, like
From the first 2 pages of Google.
From the first 2 pages of Google and me researching and actually seeing the body, I believe it is Mr. LaBianca, and he has war carved into his stomach.
Yes, that was it.
Which is horrible. Just disgustingly horrible. But there's been a lot of portrayal of these murders in pop culture, media, all of that. And I remember actually, I think it was like the lead singer of Green Day was in a movie where it was like a puppet movie, and it's like if Manson had succeeded in taking over the world, and like he was the new Messiah. And I always wanted to see it, and I read it in my Fangoria magazine, like a good little girl, and I could never find the movie. And I've always wanted to see it because I was like,
that sounds fascinating.
A fascinating thing.
Yeah.
Like, if these guys had succeeded, what kind of world would we live in?
Yeah, that's an alternate history that I'm about.
Yeah. Speaking of alternate history.
Well, no, before that, I saw a movie, I feel like it was like 4 or 5 years ago, that was about a kid who finds out that he's biologically Charlie Manson's son, and thinks that like he goes to Cielo Drive and like goes and eats at El Coyote, and then goes out to like,
which is a great Mexican restaurant, by the way. It's delicious.
I mean,
that's not the point, but
he goes out to the desert and finds all these people who are like, we still follow Charlie and like believe his teachings, and they like worship him as the second coming. And I don't remember what it was, but it was like the whole movie his brother was like, this is insane, you're doing an insane thing, and he's like, no man, I gotta find my like true self. And it was like this really interesting like finding yourself story, but also was like, I'm Charlie Manson's son, and so it had this weird,
it has
like,
to mess you up like beyond belief.
I can't, cause like there are like,
I have normal daddy issues. Like, they're horrible daddy issues, I'm not gonna lie, but they're normal bad daddy issues.
From like a parent that you knew and like grew up recognizing as your parent.
Like they're just normal, like,
not like
my dad was not 100% a great guy kind of
not
thing.
like I'm a 35-year-old person and suddenly found out Charlie Manson is my father, and now like what does that mean for my life?
So I'm not sure.
It's a weird, but it was like really, I was super interested by it, but then
I wouldn't want to know, I don't think.
End of the day, I was like, how did this movie get made?
Because people
greenlit this. Like,
people want to watch anything about Manson. They do.
Yeah.
There's so much coming up right now. We even have Mindhunter is going to be focusing on him.
Yeah, and the same guy.
Mindhunter.
The same guy who played Manson in that played him in Tarantino's new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Where that was interesting. That was an interesting version of the Manson story.
I've been so scared to talk about this. Can I tell you that? Because like I would start to talk about it and somebody would say something and I'm like, I just can't, because I feel like it's like when Civil War came out, and I was talking about how much I hated Captain America, and people would just like want to kill me, like, and I like lost friendships, legitimately had nightmares and lost friendships over Civil War. I feel like this is the same thing, and
really?
I'm so scared to say it.
Why? What are your opinions?
Oh, God. So I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan.
Yeah.
I grew up watching his stuff. I used to work at the American Cinematheque, and he was a regular there. I love him. I feel like his last 2 movies have been a little disrespectful to minority communities and men in general. And I felt like with this movie, we had 2 major things. I know people are defending Bruce Lee's portrayal as some kind of weird fantasy, but I feel like this whole movie was a white male fantasy.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this climate, I don't think we need a white male fantasy.
Fair. Yeah, I see that.
And I felt like the ending, as much as I love the fact that these guys were killed in it instead of succeeding, I still felt like it was kind of victim shamey. Like, if you were a white male that had killed their wife, you could have survived. Instead, you were just two couples that apparently can't, you know, defend yourself. Like, these are people that fought for their lives, begged for their lives, and you're just telling me that this guy, who's not a great guy, kept getting hinted at that he was not a great guy. Yeah. Funny, entertaining guy, but not a great guy, because he was probably, I mean, it's probably like a Natalie Wood situation.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think that was his way of doing a Natalie Wood
without having to, because everyone knows that Christopher Walken will murder anyone who actually does that, because he definitely had a part in murdering Natalie Wood.
Great, now we're gonna get murdered. I hate being murdered.
Thanks, Christopher Walken.
On a Thursday. I only like getting murdered on Sundays. But yeah, so I think that was my major problem with it. I just don't really. I think I'm sick of victim shaming. I think I'm sick of saying that, like, some great white warrior is gonna, like, come in and save us. Like, I feel like we as people and women don't need to, like, have it hammered in that we're just, like, not enough to, like, save ourselves. And I felt like this was another one of those moments. I was like, Sharon Tate's life was, like, her life ending was so sad.
Well, and
it was so sad. She begged.
They didn't even, like, get her characterization right. Like, Sharon Tate wasn't this, like, mod it girl. Like, yeah, she was very famous and very popular and gorgeous, but she was a hippie. Like, she was one of those, like, barefoot and pregnant, like...
Yeah, and she was a good woman, a nice, kind woman, which I do think they did.
Yeah,
I think
they showed her did a fantastic job.
Amazing.
But
I do think that it's just, I'm tired
it's Quentin Tarantino's skew on things that is just not. I also didn't need the 75 minutes worth of shots of people's feet.
Or just lots of, like, flat butts in my face and camera. Listen, if you have a flat butt, rock that flat butt. But I just don't need 20 minutes on a flat butt.
I also just, the minute Lena Dunham showed up, I was like, no, you're like Ben Affleck. The minute you show up, I'm like, no, your face knows what the internet is. I can't. You don't exist without Twitter. You have to leave this movie now. I just can't do it.
There's a lot of hate on her.
She did a fine job, but I personally just can't get on board with Lena Dunham.
There's a lot of hate on her, and I understand some of it. And for the most part, I just think the cast was great, the acting was great. I am just tired of having this agenda beaten into me, and then I think it's really upsetting to me for some reason that I need to get the fuck over it, but I probably won't. Is that, like, almost when it came out and everyone's like trying to review it, and then, like, all my minority friends are very upset, all my female friends are pretty upset, and then you just have, like, a white man going, well, I thought I would be on your side, but I'm not. I'm like, of course you're not.
This is a story about you.
Why did you think it? It was jerking off into your face, and you were like, delicious.
Yeah, no, I left that movie, and I was like, I don't think there was a single person of color in that whole movie.
There were some, Latino people that were very much treated horribly.
Yep.
And I just really thought, like, for years, I was just, like, defending him as a person that was an ally, and I don't know that I can defend him anymore. And that's sad. It's like when Tim Burton started making crap. It was like, you know, I loved you. Why are you doing this to
ruining
me?
my life?
And I think that's why it's so serious to me. Like, it's so upsetting to me, because I'm just like, I loved you, and you hurt me now. And then, like, it feels like a hurt every single time another one of my white male friends goes, I don't know why everyone's upset. I loved it. It was a great ride. Of course you loved it. It's for you. But so much is for you.
Yeah.
Can we stop? You have the whole world.
Well, and then it's also the question of, like, that movie falls the fuck apart if you don't know a lot of specific information about the Tate murders.
Which, okay, that's fine. I mean, it played to the nostalgia. Like, it was great. I went and saw it with my mother. My mom used to dance at these clubs like Whiskey A Go-Go and Pandora's Box, and I had never seen Pandora's Box.
Yeah, well, it closed in like the 90s.
Yeah.
No, it closed way earlier than that.
It was
like the late 60s, early 70s.
And it was great to see it. Like, I was like, my mom was like so excited. She was like, I used to dance there. Yeah. And it was so fun.
Well, that
the drive-in that he lived at, I grew up going to that drive-in.
Seeing Hollywood like OG'd out like that was really great.
So there's some amazing things to it. I just think that the thing that makes me the most upset is that people can't see why people are upset.
Yeah.
And are just like, calm down. And I just want to tell you, calm the fuck down. People can be upset and hurt and still love something. Like, I love elements of that movie.
Yeah.
I don't love the slaps in the face. That's all.
Fair.
It's okay.
That's so fair.
I'm sure I'm gonna get hate.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel about the Hateful Eight. There are parts of that are wonderful, and then most of it that I do not enjoy.
Feel that way.
There are parts of it.
I can't really find. I thought it was like that moment when I saw, was it James Carpenter, Vampires or something, and then there was like a girl that got bit by a vampire, and he was just slapping her around and calling her a whore like the whole time, and I was like, I'm out. I actually don't want to see any more of this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I felt like, yeah, this girl is horrible.
Yeah, but
you guys are horrible.
That was the thing about...
You're just slapping the shit out of her and using the N-word way
too liberally.
Much. I'm half black, and there's no way I would do a fraction of what they did. No. I also am very uncomfortable with the word, so like I feel like the word is over. We're over it, right?
We've moved on. We're next.
I've moved on, so let's all move on. But there's a lot of movies, TV shows. We could go on and on.
Yeah, well, and it's even like, again, the woman who tried to get married or engaged to him or whatever. You can eat my cereal.
We still have more cereal. Okay.
Like there will always be people, and even today there are people who are like, Jeffrey Dahmer can get it, and it's like, no, shut up. He was a literal serial killer. He ate people. Go away.
Yeah. But if I had to pick one,
but like people were into Charlie Manson, and
yeah,
like
I don't think I definitely wouldn't pick Manson. I definitely wouldn't pick Manson. Let's just say I would not pick Manson. I would not pick Bundy at all.
The only thing that would like sway me would be if I could get in on those like acid-fueled orgies that Charlie Manson would orchestrate, because like that sounds kind of fun. I would be down to try that, you know?
I would totally be down to
do some acid, have a bunch of weird sex. Like that sounds great, as long as he can not like plant subliminal messages into my mind while I'm susceptible.
But then he would have to
acid.
touch you.
Like, no, he always like orchestrated it.
Oh, he didn't do it?
He didn't do it, but he did force like all of the new girls essentially to like go down on him, and he was like, yeah, you can't be in the family if you aren't like willing to do this. It was super creepy. And then people continued to want to have sex with him.
It's like gotta be like 3-pronged.
I feel like it looks like that swastika tattoo on his forehead that he did in jail. I also didn't even like get into any of his prison life after he got put away for the Tate murder.
It's too much.
He just like
too much about
goes
him.
insane.
He is insane. He's
true. He's always insane.
Insane. Another thing that we're doing along with the podcast is we're actually putting up music of serial killers or music inspired by serial killers on a Spotify playlist called Serial Killers. So you can go on there, and we have some Manson stuff. He actually wrote some stuff for the Beach Boys.
Yeah, that they recorded and released like back in the 60s. It did pretty well.
So that'll be on there.
And then we're
gonna
get his original songs, which were released like shortly after he got put into jail, which was super weird.
Well, he finally got the record contract that he always wanted
for his 5-song EP.
That's the sad thing about the industry, isn't it? That's what happens.
I mean, look at Heath Ledger.
I know. It's just like everything happens
when you're gone.
Or when you've done something horrible. because he was still alive when his album was, I don't know. I don't think it went platinum.
No.
you guys, but, you know. Yeah. And then also, if you're on Goodreads, we also have a Goodreads community where we can talk about serial killer books. And I have a special serial killer list on there that is books written by serial killers. And Tex Watson wrote quite a few books.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck, you guys? He wrote a lot of Christian, weird, like, psychedelic Christian book. I don't even know if this is a category.
He got very weird later in life.
Yeah, and he's still alive.
Right?
I
think so.
I think still alive.
Well, and then, like, Squeaky Frome, who was one of the women to, like, murder Sharon Tate and whatever, later in life attempted to murder Gerald Ford. Attempted to assassinate Gerald Ford, reportedly to continue the work that the family had started.
Are there still followers?
I think there are. Like,
and
I
what
think,
are you
but
following
it's the same.
exactly?
It's the same type of people who are like flat earthers.
Okay, but
where
like,
it's like, but what is the point of any of this? Why are you here?
But what is following him? I don't understand. Like, what
like
is
what
his
his like?
yeah,
What
is
he didn't
thing?
have like a manifesto or a doctrine or anything.
What is his, like? So you're just.
It could be this race war thing. It could be that they're just all prepping for this ever-looming race war.
I mean, race wars have been happening for
literally
whole,
forever.
Like, time that we've all been around on planet Earth.
Yeah, but I think, but I don't have any idea.
If you know more information about
Please reach out.
what the doctrine of a follower would be besides, I don't know, like alcohol and drug-filled orgies and, I don't know, killing people and making music.
I don't know. Because it's also still not like super clear why he killed all those people.
Yeah. That's Charles Manson, you guys. And that is Sour Patch Kids cereal.
Yum.
It's so mushy.
It's
gross
so
and
weird.
good.
It's so gross.
I actually like it. I give it a knife up. I feel like you're giving it a knife down.
I am gonna give it a knife down.
I might be too
this
easy.
Is not
for
for me.
Okay. Knife up for knife down for Maria. And okay, so if you want to follow us, you can follow us at Pod Serial Killer on all platforms, and you can email us at pod. Ooh, no, that's not how you do an email. How do you do an email?
You can email us at podserialkiller@gmail.com if you have any suggestions, comments, or anyone you want to hear or see us talk about. And if you have any weird cereals that you want us to find serial killers for.
Please help us with that. And be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share,
rate,
tweet,
review, carrier pigeon, smoke signal.
Please
tell
don't.
everyone.
I'm very afraid of birds. Bye guys.
Bye.